Stand up straight. Daniel's voice cut through the air like a blade. If you're going to represent this company, at least try to look presentable. My throat tightened. I thought my work mattered more than my looks. He smirked, leaning against his desk. In this industry, looks are everything. You're serviceable, but certainly not what we want at the front. You don't exactly draw attention, do you? The office was silent except for the soft chuckles. I heard them co-workers whispering like vultures circling over my head. Daniel, I've given 3 years to this company, I said, my voice shaking. Late nights, weekends, no complaints. Doesn't that mean anything? He tapped a pen against the table, slow, deliberate. Work ethic isn't the problem. You're loyal. I'll give you that. But loyalty doesn't sell. Pretty faces do. Someone snorted behind me. My palms went cold. So you're firing me? My voice broke. Daniel shrugged like it was nothing. Call it rebranding. We want someone brighter, fresher. Someone who turns heads when she walks in. You don't. Don't take it personally, it's just business. Not personal. I laughed, bitter and sharp. You're throwing me out. Like trash because I don't fit your shallow standards. Don't be dramatic. His eyes flicked to my blouse, then back to my face. If you want a different outcome, maybe try improving yourself. A little makeup, a little effort. But, honestly, you'll never quite reach the level we're aiming for. Gasps and muffled laughter followed. I couldn't breathe. Daniel, I built campaigns that doubled our sales. I covered for your mistakes when clients complained. And this is what I get. He raised his brow, unbothered. Don't act like you're irreplaceable. Everyone here can be replaced. Even you. The words sliced deeper than I expected. Say something, I whispered, glancing at the people around me. Doesn't anyone think this is wrong? Silence. Only blank stares. Lips pressed shut. No one moved. Daniel chuckled. See? They know how this works. Don't fight the tide. Pack up your desk. I clenched my fists. You'll regret this. He leaned closer, voice low and mocking. Will I? You're just a plain girl with no real pull. The world won't even notice when you're gone. Heat rushed to my face, but not from shame. Something darker burned inside me. You're wrong, I said quietly. One day you'll remember this moment. You'll remember the way you humiliated me. He smirked. And what? You'll rise from the ashes? Don't make me laugh. I turned, heart hammering, as whispers followed me out. She really thought she mattered. Not pretty enough. Harsh but true. Daniel always knows what's best for the company. Each word clung to me like poison. I walked down that hallway carrying 3 years of loyalty in a box. Papers, pens, little pieces of my dedication reduced to clutter. At the door, I paused. My reflection in the glass looked hollow, small. But somewhere deep inside, a spark flickered. I whispered to myself, barely audible, this isn't the end. It's the beginning. And as I stepped out into the world I no longer belonged to, the humiliation cut deep, but the fire began to burn hotter. Daniel thought he had ended me. He had no idea he had just created the reason I'd rise. Mom, I promise I'll find something. Soon, I whispered, staring at the untouched dinner. She sighed, folding her arms. You've been saying that for weeks. Companies don't let go of good employees. You must have done something. The words stabbed deeper than she knew. I worked hard. I gave everything. He said I wasn't pretty enough. My father lowered his newspaper. That's an excuse. You should have kept your head down and worked. Dad, it wasn't about work. It was about me. My throat tightened. About how I look. I can't change my face. He shook his head. Then you'll have to accept your choices. We can't support you forever. Silence choked me. Later, in my room, I pressed my face into the pillow, muffling sobs until dawn. The next day, as I stepped outside, Mrs. Khan from next door leaned on her gate. I heard you left your job. Such a shame. A girl like you should have married by now instead of wasting time on offices. Her voice dripped with pity. I didn't leave, I muttered. I was fired. She blinked, then smiled faintly. Ah, that explains it. I walked away, each step heavier. By the weekend, I sat in Lena's apartment, nursing cold tea. She curled up beside me. Don't let their voices break you. You're stronger than this. I laughed bitterly. Stronger? I can't even pay my rent. Every rejection email feels like another slap. You'll find a way. You always do. She touched my hand gently. Maybe take a break? Breathe? A break? I'm drowning. The bills don't wait. Landlords don't care about breathing. She hesitated. Then what if you tried something new? A different industry? You're smart, adaptable. I'm tired of adapting, I whispered. I just want to be seen for who I am, not for what I lack. Her eyes softened. You're worth more than what he said. Don't let Daniel's voice become your truth. I wanted to believe her, but every time I closed my eyes, I heard his mocking tone. Later that night, I sat in the cafe where I'd picked up part-time shifts. My manager barked from behind the counter. Table 3's been waiting 10 minutes. Hurry up. I'm going, I muttered, grabbing the tray. When I reached the table, a man in a dark jacket looked up from his laptop. His eyes were sharp, calm, almost unsettling. Your tea, I said quietly. He studied me for a moment before speaking. You don't like working here. My heart jumped. What makes you think that? You're too careful. Like you're trying not to shatter. That doesn't come from a simple job. That comes from losing something bigger. I froze, tray trembling in my hands. You don't even know me. Not yet, he replied, voice steady. But I'd like to. I swallowed hard, unsure why his words felt heavier than all the rest. That night, walking home under dim streetlights, his eyes stayed in my mind, sharp, unreadable, but strangely kind. For the first time in weeks, the weight on my chest shifted just slightly. Back again, I said, setting down his black coffee. You work too much. He looked up from his laptop, eyes steady. And you don't? I froze, tray in hand. What's that supposed to mean? You hide it well, he replied, but your shoulders sag. Your smile never reaches your eyes. You're tired of being here. I forced a laugh. I'm a waitress. Everyone here is tired. He didn't blink. No, yours feels heavier, like you were meant for more. The words slipped under my skin. You read people for fun? I watch, he said calmly. Observation tells more truth than words. I crossed my arms. Then what truth do you think you see in me? That you don't belong behind trays. You belong somewhere people listen to you. His confidence unsettled me. And where exactly is that? He leaned back. You tell me. What did you dream of before this? The question caught me off guard. Why do you care? Because, he said softly, most people never ask themselves again after they've been broken. Something in his tone made my chest tighten. You don't know me. Not yet, he said, repeating the words from before. I looked down at the coffee. Fine. I used to want to lead campaigns, create strategies that mattered, not just sell, build. His eyes sharpened. So you're not afraid of pressure. You just weren't given the right stage. Or maybe I wasn't good enough, I muttered. He shook his head. Don't mistake cruelty for truth. I swallowed, suddenly hating how much I wanted to believe him. The next day, he was there again. You're stalking me. I joked nervously. He smiled faintly. Maybe I just like this calf. I raised a brow. Or maybe you're too curious about me. Curious, yes, he admitted. Most people settle when they're pushed down. You haven't. I frowned. You think working here is refusing to settle? No, he said. I think you're waiting for the right door to open. I exhaled slowly. And what if no door opens? Then I'll build one, he said simply. I laughed. You talk like you can change people's lives. Maybe I can, he replied, tone so even it frightened me. Later that evening, I found him standing near the counter, laptop bag over his shoulder. Why me? I asked quietly. There are hundreds of waitresses in this city. Why do you keep talking to me? He studied me for a moment. Because you don't realize the strength you carry. And because I know what it feels like to be underestimated. I searched his face, but his expression revealed nothing. And what exactly do you want from me? Nothing, he said. Only to see you stand again. The words made my breath hitch. Nobody had spoken to me like that before, not even Lena. I turned away quickly, afraid he might see the tears in my eyes. But as he left, his voice lingered, steady and unshakable. You're worth more than this place. For the first time, I wondered if he might be right. You've been avoiding me, Ethan said, sliding into the booth across from me. I stiffened. I'm working, customers, remember? Then take 5 minutes. I need to tell you something. I sighed, dropping the tray. Fine, what is it this time? Another lecture about hidden strength? His eyes didn't waver. I wasn't honest with you. I'm not just some man who likes coffee. My name is Ethan Carter. My father owns Carter Enterprises. My stomach dropped. Wait, Carter as in the company where? Yes, he cut in. The one that fired you. I stared, heat rushing to my cheeks. So this was all a game? Watching me crash and burn for your amusement? No. he said firmly. I noticed you before I knew your story. But once I did, I realized something. You're not like the people circling my family's world. You don't want money or status. You just want respect. I folded my arms. And what do you want? To play savior? He leaned forward. I want a partner. Someone who isn't blinded by the Carter name. Someone real. I blinked. You can't be serious. I am, he said quietly. I don't need another executive at my side. I need someone who knows what betrayal feels like. Someone who'll never fake loyalty. That's why I'm asking you. A nervous laugh slipped out. Asking me what? To work for you? His gaze didn't shift. To marry me. The air froze. You're insane, maybe, he admitted, but I've never been more certain of anything. My chest tightened. We barely know each other. Sometimes knowing someone's scars tells you more than years of small talk. I shook my head. This is ridiculous. You could have anyone. Models, heiresses, women who'd worship you. Why me? Because you didn't worship me, he said simply. You looked me in the eye and told me what you wanted without fear. You didn't chase my name. You challenged me. I swallowed hard. Words tangled on my tongue. And what happens if I say yes? Do I just become your trophy wife? No, he said. You become my equal. I don't want a trophy. I want a shield and a mirror, someone who sees me for me, not the empire I carry. Silence stretched between us. My pulse thundered in my ears. You don't know what you're asking, I whispered. Marriage isn't, it's not something you gamble with. I'm not gambling, he said steadily. I'm choosing, and I'm choosing you. I laughed, weakly, but the sound cracked. This is insane, completely insane. Maybe destiny always looks insane at first, he said. I pressed my hands to my face, torn between running and staying. Deep inside, something whispered that his madness might be the only thing that could save me. Are you sure about this? I asked, staring at the stack of papers between us. Ethan nodded. If you're asking whether I've thought it through, yes. If you're asking whether I want you, more than anyone else, yes again. My fingers trembled as I touched the pen. Marriage should mean family rings, vows in front of people, not signatures on cold paper. His gaze softened. We don't need an audience, just the truth between us. Do you trust me? I swallowed hard. Trust isn't my strongest skill these days. Then let me earn it, one step at a time. Sign this, and I'll spend the rest of my life proving it wasn't a mistake. I exhaled shakily. You're too calm for someone making a crazy decision. He smiled faintly. I don't see it as crazy. I see it as fate. With a trembling breath, I signed. He signed right after, swift and certain, like he'd been waiting his whole life for this. The clerk cleared his throat. Congratulations. That makes it official. Official. Just like that, I was Mrs. Ethan Carter. Later, as we stepped outside, I whispered, no white dress, no flowers, no music. It doesn't feel real. It feels real to me, Ethan replied, slipping his hand into mine. A promise doesn't need an audience. I laughed nervously. I can already hear my mother screaming when she finds out. Married without telling her? He chuckled. She'll forgive you once she sees you're happy. Happy? I repeated softly. I'm terrified. Good, he said, surprising me. It means this matters. We drove in silence for a while until I finally asked, what now? Do I just move into your world like nothing happened? Yes, he said calmly, but not as a shadow, as my wife. They'll know you're not temporary. His words should have comforted me, but Daniel's voice echoed in my mind, plain, forgettable, replaceable. I whispered, what if they look at me and see what he saw? What if I embarrass you? Ethan's grip on the wheel tightened. Don't ever repeat his poison. You're not here to please them. You're here because I chose you, and because you deserve this as much as anyone. Tears stung my eyes. I wish I could believe that. He glanced at me, steady. Then let me believe it for both of us, until you can. We pulled up to his apartment, modern glass, steel, nothing like my cramped room. I hesitated at the door. This feels like stepping into someone else's skin, I admitted. He unlocked it and pushed gently. No, it's yours now too. Inside, everything gleamed, polished floors, soft lights, silence. Too perfect, too intimidating. I whispered, what if I can't carry this? The name, the expectations, the weight? Ethan turned to me, his voice quiet but firm. Then lean on me until you can. You're not alone anymore. I looked at him, the papers still heavy in my mind, the vows unsaid but binding. My scars whispered doubt, but his eyes offered something I hadn't felt in years: safety. Maybe storms were waiting, but for the first time, I wasn't facing them alone. Ethan, I whispered as we pulled up in front of the glass towers I once left in shame. Are you sure about this? He squeezed my hand. Do you trust me to walk beside you? My chest tightened. I'm not afraid of walking. I'm afraid of falling again. Then let me catch you if you do. His calm tone left no room for argument. I followed him through the revolving doors. The familiar scent of polished marble hit me, dragging me back to the day Daniel humiliated me. My legs wobbled, but I straightened when Ethan's hand pressed gently against my back. Whispers followed us immediately. Is that? Who's she? She's with Mr. Carter's son. I ignored them, but my cheeks burned. The receptionist stammered, "Gee, good morning, Mr. Carter." And Mrs.? Ethan smiled. Carter. Mrs. Carter. The word rang in the air like a thunderclap. I lifted my chin, though my heart pounded. The elevator ride felt endless. I stared at the floor, murmuring, "They're already judging. Let them," Ethan said simply. "They'll choke on their own shock soon enough." When the doors opened, I froze. Daniel stood there, papers in hand, his eyes colliding with mine, his lips parted. "Why you?" I inhaled sharply. "Surprised to see me, Daniel?" His face paled. What are you doing here?" Ethan stepped forward, his voice even. "Introducing my wife." Daniel's eyes widened. "Your wife?" I met his stare, forcing my voice not to tremble. "Yes, Mrs. Carter." He actually stumbled back a step, papers nearly slipping from his hand. "No, that's impossible." "Is it?" I asked softly, tilting my head. "Or did you just never imagine the woman you threw away could stand here again?" His jaw tightened. "You're playing some kind of game." Ethan's tone turned cool. "The only game is the one you lost. My father already knows her. The rest of the company will, too." I could feel eyes on us from every corner, employees frozen at their desks, whispers rippling like fire. Daniel's voice cracked. "You think walking in on his arm changes who you are?" I leaned closer, whispering just loud enough for him to hear. "No, Daniel, it changes who you are. The man who discarded me now works under my family." His hand shook around the papers. "You won't last here. They'll eat you alive." "Maybe," I admitted, holding his gaze. "But I'd rather be eaten alive than live caged in your shadow." Ethan touched my elbow gently. "We should go. Father's waiting." As we walked past, Daniel muttered, "This isn't over." I didn't look back. "It's only the beginning." Inside the CEO's office, Mr. Carter rose from behind his desk. His sharp eyes flicked from Ethan to me. "So," he said slowly, "this is the woman who silenced half the building with her entrance." I bowed slightly. "I never meant to cause a scene," he chuckled. "On the contrary, sometimes a storm clears the air." Ethan pulled out a chair for me. "She belongs here, Father." Mr. Carter studied me. "The company isn't kind to outsiders. Can you withstand the pressure?" My voice was quiet but steady. "I've already withstood worse." His lips curved. "Good. Then welcome to the family, both mine and the company's." Relief flooded me, but Daniel's ghost still lingered in my chest. This wasn't revenge yet. No, this was me stepping back into the lion's den, hand in hand with the man who dared to believe I could stand, and for the first time, I believed maybe I could. Daniel cornered me near the conference room, his lips curled in a forced grin. Well, he drawled. "Look who's back. Mrs. Carter now, huh? Quite the upgrade." I folded my arms. "Upgrade? Is that what you call it?" He laughed. Too loudly. "Come on. Don't be so cold. What happened before was just business. You know how it is." "Business?" My voice sharpened. "You humiliated me. You said I was worthless. You told me no man of value would ever want me." His smile faltered. "Don't twist my words. I don't need to twist them." I cut in. "They're burned into me." His eyes darted past me, as though searching for support, but the hallway was silent. I saw the faint sheen of sweat forming at his temples. Ethan appeared then, his stride calm but firm. "Is there a problem here?" Daniel chuckled nervously. "No problem at all. I was just welcoming her back. Old colleagues, you know?" Ethan's gaze was steady. "Old colleagues? Strange. She remembers you treating her like disposable trash." Daniel's throat bobbed. "That's exaggerated." I stepped closer, my voice low but sharp. "You sneered at me in front of everyone. You said I'd never belong here. Do you remember that?" He forced another laugh. "It was a long time ago." Why dwell on the past? Ethan crossed his arms, his presence radiating quiet dominance. Because the past doesn't disappear. It shapes who stands here today. Daniel's fake ease cracked. His shoulders slumped slightly. Look, I might have been harsh, but I didn't mean you meant every word. I interrupted. And now you're pretending it was nothing. But it wasn't nothing to me. His jaw clenched. You think marrying him changes everything? I held his gaze. No, but it changes the way you have to look at me. Ethan's tone was calm, but the weight behind it was undeniable. My father values loyalty and integrity, traits you seem to lack. If you can't show respect to my wife, you'll find yourself on the wrong side of this company very quickly. Daniel's mask slipped entirely then. His forced grin disappeared, replaced with a tight, strained expression. Of course I respect her. She's Mrs. Carter now. The way he said it strained, bitter made a shiver of satisfaction run through me. Say it properly, Ethan pressed, his voice soft but commanding. Daniel's eyes flickered with barely contained anger, but he bowed his head slightly. Mrs. Carter. Hearing him say it, hearing the man who once crushed me now forced to acknowledge me with respect, sent a rush of vindication through my chest. I whispered, leaning close enough that only he could hear. Feels different when the tables turn, doesn't it? His hands tightened around the folder he carried, knuckles white. This isn't over. I straightened, my voice steady. No, it's only beginning. Ethan's hand brushed mine gently, guiding me away, and as we walked, I didn't look back. I didn't need to. For the first time, Daniel was the one afraid. Did you hear? One woman hissed as I passed the break room. She married her way in, another whispered. No qualifications, just a ring. My steps faltered, but I forced myself forward. Still, their voices clung like thorns. Later, in the quiet of my office, I buried my face in my hands. Maybe they're right. Maybe I don't belong here. Ethan's voice came from the doorway. Who decides that? Them? Or you? I looked up, startled. You heard. I hear everything. He stepped closer. Tell me, do you want to quit just because people gossip? No, I said quickly, then softer. But it hurts. Their whispers feel like knives. He crouched beside me. Knives only cut if you hand them your skin. Don't give them that power. I swallowed hard. It's not just them. Sometimes I still hear Daniel's words in my head. That I'm not enough. Ethan's eyes darkened. And yet you're sitting here as Mrs. Carter, while he's scrambling to keep his place. Whose words carry more weight now? Before I could answer, my phone buzzed. Lena's name flashed. I picked up with relief. Hey, finally. I've missed you. Her tone was cool. You've been busy. Hard to keep up when your best friend suddenly becomes untouchable. My chest tightened. Untouchable? Lena, it's still me, is it? She asked sharply. Because from where I stand, you're walking halls I'll never enter. You're married to power. And me? I'm still invisible. That's not fair. I whispered. You know I never wanted to lose you. Then why didn't you tell me? Why did I have to hear about your marriage from everyone else? I was scared, I admitted. Scared you'd look at me differently. Her silence cut deeper than anger. Finally, she said, maybe you were right. And then the line went dead. I stared at the phone, my throat aching. Ethan touched my shoulder gently. What happened? She thinks I've changed, that I left her behind. Did you? He asked quietly. No, at least I didn't mean to. But maybe I did without realizing. Maybe I'm becoming everything. I hated someone defined by money, by power. He leaned against the desk, studying me. Revenge can sharpen you, but it can also hollow you out. Which side are you feeding? I bit my lip. I don't know. All I wanted was dignity. To walk into this building without shame. To prove Daniel wrong. And you have, Ethan said firmly. But dignity doesn't come from tearing others down. It comes from knowing who you are no matter what they say. I searched his face. But what if I'm not strong enough? His voice softened. You are. I wouldn't have chosen you if you weren't. But you need to decide, are you living for their whispers or for your own voice? The question lingered in the silence between us. That night, lying awake, I replayed the day. The gossip, Lena's distance, my own doubts. My heart twisted with a fear I couldn't shake. What if this path wasn't healing me at all? What if it was turning me into someone unrecognizable? Whispers still circled in my head, Daniel's voice among them, sharp and cruel. But beneath it, softer, was Ethan's. Your voice matters more. And in that quiet, I wondered if I believed him. Daniel, the report was due yesterday, Ethan said flatly during the meeting. Daniel forced a smile. I just needed more time. The data was complex. No, Ethan cut in. It was simple. You missed it. I watched Daniel's jaw tighten, his fake confidence slipping. He nodded stiffly, but the room felt the shift, his mask cracking. That evening, as I left the building, I heard him call my name. Wait. I stopped reluctantly. His tie was loosened, eyes bloodshot. The smell of alcohol clung to him. You look terrible, I said quietly. He laughed bitterly. And you look perfect, untouchable. Funny how things change. I kept my voice even. What do you want, Daniel? To explain, he said quickly, stepping closer. Back then, when I said you weren't enough, it wasn't true. I was under pressure, drowning. I lashed out. I didn't mean it. My chest tightened, memories stabbing at me. You didn't mean it? I repeated slowly. Daniel, you looked me in the eyes and tore me apart. You enjoyed it. His face twisted. I was scared. Everything was slipping: money, status, my father's approval. You were supposed to be my safe place, but instead you reminded me of how powerless I was. So you broke me. I cut in, voice sharp. That was your choice. He rubbed his face, desperation leaking through. I regret it, every day. I drink to forget, but it never leaves me. Please, just tell me you understand. I stared at him, the man who once stood tall, arrogant, untouchable. Now he was shaking, eyes rimmed red. For a heartbeat, pity stirred in me, almost. You want my forgiveness? I asked quietly. Yes, he whispered. More than anything. Then earn it, I said coldly. But don't expect me to forget. I carried scars you can't see, because of you, and no apology will erase that. He flinched, like my words were blows. I didn't think you'd be this cruel. Cruel? I echoed, my voice rising. You mocked me when I begged for kindness. You threw me out like trash. Don't stand here and call me cruel because you can't face your reflection. His shoulders sagged, the last of his arrogance slipping away. I'm losing everything, he whispered. The project, my reputation, even myself. I took a step back, my heart pounding. Then maybe you're finally learning what it feels like. He reached out, but I moved away before his hand could touch me. His voice cracked. I never stopped caring. A bitter laugh escaped me. You cared about power, Daniel, not me. Don't rewrite history because you can't bear the truth. His lips parted, but no words came. Only silence. I turned, heels clicking against the marble floor, my chest burning. Behind me, his voice broke into the empty hall. Please don't leave me like this. I didn't answer. For one fleeting second, I almost pitied him. Almost. But then I remembered every tear, every sleepless night, every cruel word that had cut deeper than any blade, and pity vanished. The ballroom glittered with chandeliers, glasses clinking, laughter echoing. My pulse quickened as Ethan leaned toward me. Ready? He murmured. I breathed slowly. More than ready. When the lights dimmed, his father took the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is not only about our company's growth, it is about family. Allow me to introduce my son, Ethan, and his wife. Applause thundered. Ethan guided me onto the stage. Whispers rose from the crowd. Is that her? The one, Daniel? Impossible. I smiled, steady, though my heart thundered. Ethan spoke smoothly. This is my wife. From this day forward, she stands with me, not only as family, but as part of the company's future. Hands clapped. Cameras flashed. For a moment, I closed my eyes, letting the sound wash over me. Then I saw him, Daniel. He stood near the back, glass in hand, his face pale. His eyes darted between Ethan, me, and the crowd. After the applause softened, I leaned toward the microphone. Thank you, I said, my voice carrying. Some of you know me already. Perhaps you remember me differently. But tonight is not about the past. Tonight is about strength, resilience, and the future. A murmur rippled through the hall. I let my gaze sweep the room, pausing deliberately on Daniel. Our eyes locked. His lips parted, as if he might speak, but nothing came. Later, as guests mingled, he cornered me near the edge of the hall. His voice was low, strained. You here? On that stage? How? I tilted my head. Surprised? Stunned, he admitted, bitterly. The woman he stopped himself. You were supposed to disappear. I smiled coolly. You don't get to decide who I become. He gripped his glass tighter. Do you enjoy this? Watching me fall while you rise? I leaned closer, my voice steady. Do you remember the day you humiliated me in this very hall? The words you spat, the laughter that followed? You thought I'd never recover. Tonight, I walked back into this room, not as your discarded shadow but as the one they now applaud. His jaw worked. I was young, foolish, no, I cut in. You were cruel. And you meant every word. Silence stretched. He looked away, then back, eyes glistening. If I could undo it, you can't, I said simply. He let out a hollow laugh. So this is it. You won. I shook my head. This isn't about winning. This is about finally being free of you. His face twisted, regret etched deep. You don't even hate me anymore, do you? I met his gaze one last time. No, I don't. Hate gives you power, and you don't deserve even that. For the first time, his confidence shattered completely. His shoulders slumped. He looked smaller, diminished. Ethan approached then, slipping his hand into mine. Everything all right? Perfect, I said, squeezing his hand. Daniel opened his mouth, but nothing came. He stood frozen, watching us walk away as the music swelled and laughter filled the hall. For years, I had imagined this moment, what I'd say, how I'd feel. Anger, triumph, revenge. Yet standing there, I felt none of those, only cold indifference. And that was sweeter than vengeance. Daniel's voice cracked as he stood before Ethan's office door. Please, just one more chance. Ethan's tone was sharp. You've had enough chances. The company can't afford another failure. I can fix it, Daniel insisted desperately. I'll work day and night. Don't throw me out like this. I stood by the window, watching quietly. Ethan's glance flicked toward me, then back to Daniel. It's not my decision alone. You burned too many bridges. No one trusts you anymore. Daniel turned to me then, eyes hollow. You know me better. Tell him I'm worth keeping. I held his gaze. You're asking me to save you? His voice softened. Yes, please. I was wrong before, but I cut him off. Wrong isn't the word. Cruel, maybe. Ruthless? You enjoyed watching me suffer. And now you want me to step in? He stepped closer, lowering his voice. I didn't mean those things. I was under pressure. You have to believe me. I felt a cold calm settle inside me. I don't have to believe anything. Ethan spoke firmly. This conversation is over. But Daniel pressed on, his voice shaking. Wait, just listen to me. I know I treated you horribly, but if you can forgive me, maybe others will too. Isn't forgiveness what makes someone truly strong? I almost laughed. You think my forgiveness will save you? No, Daniel. Forgiveness doesn't erase consequences. His hands trembled. So you're really going to stand there and watch me lose everything? Yes, I said quietly, because this is what you built. Brick by brick, every insult, every betrayal, it all led you here. His shoulders sagged, his voice barely a whisper. I don't recognize myself anymore. I met his eyes steadily. I do. This is who you've always been. You just can't hide it now. Silence fell. His breathing was uneven, his composure gone. Finally, he whispered. Then, there's nothing left. Ethan's tone was final. Leave the office. Security will escort you. Daniel looked at him, then back at me. His lips quivered. And you? Do you feel nothing at all? I gave him a small, polite smile. Nothing. The word landed heavier than any scream could have. His face crumpled, the last flicker of arrogance extinguished. He turned slowly, as if each step drained him, and disappeared through the door. I let out a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. Ethan placed a hand on my shoulder. You handled that better than anyone else could. I didn't do anything, I said softly. That's the point. He doesn't matter anymore. Ethan studied me for a moment. That's real power, walking away without needing to destroy him further. I nodded, though my chest ached with the weight of years gone by. For so long, I thought revenge would be about breaking him. But it's not. It's about showing him he no longer has any place in my world. The truth settled inside me like calm after a storm. Daniel's downfall wasn't in the loss of his job, or the whispers that would follow him. It was in that single moment when he looked into my eyes and realized he was nothing to me. That was the sweetest revenge of all.